I don't know. I don't really have, I don't know. I like playing music. And I love playing music. Yeah, and that's it. I think that I've never really been interested in trying to define myself in conventional terms. Like, you're a jazz guy, you're this guy, you're that guy. I like music, and if the music's good enough, I'm going to give it a try. And if I'm not good enough, like today, if I'm not good enough, I'll practice and I'll come back and I'll try it again. A good concert for me is when you play, like particularly when you're playing in a classical situation. If you can play like 90% of the notes that the man actually wrote, then yeah, it's a good day. But if you're on 60%, it's not a good day. And then I got so caught up in the notes that I didn't pay attention to the orchestra, and that's the worst sin of all. Because there's the notes on the page, but then what makes it music is what's off the page. And when you get so focused on the page that you lose the other situation, that's not good. Music-wise, my next big dream is to play the music tomorrow that I messed up today, much better. And that would be very nice. I would be very happy if I could play better tomorrow. I don't think that anybody would call me gentle, but I'd like to believe that I'm fair. They don't like it when it's happening at the time, but when we look back on it, you know, my delivery could be, I'm working on my delivery. My delivery is definitely better now than it was about 3 years ago. But I have a very specific idea on how I want the music to sound. If I knew it would be boring, I have no idea. Called Marsalis music, not Marsalis jazz, or Marsalis anything else. We'll do a lot of different things, you know. I think it's great because I think that when you play music, you're having a conversation. I don't care who you are, when you're playing music, you're having a conversation. And you look at a language, you know, if you have someone, you know, who's having a conversation or a debate class, all right, and you have one person over here, and this person reads People magazine and, you know, watches cartoons and television and MTV, and this other person over here has read Shelley and Yeats, Keats, Shakespeare, James Baldwin, and you're having a conversation, one will clearly have a larger vocabulary than the other. So the vocabulary allows you to say the same thing in a multitude of ways. So you can go from city to city, and so you won't be bored in your own mind. You can talk about things in very, very different ways. The person over here says the same thing over and over again because they're so limited. You know, if you go to a concert and you hear someone and you say, wow, that was great. When you go to a concert a second time, you hear them and you say, well, wait a minute, that's the same thing they played last night. You know, like in pop culture, it's an asset.
It must.
It's an asset in pop culture. You know, you go hear Janet Jackson in consecutive nights, you can hear the same show in the same order, the same licks, the same riffs, and nobody seems to mind because they're not really there for the music. It's like an event, you know. It's like the dancing and the lights and the whole thing. But in creative music, if you're playing the same thing over and over again, that's not good for you. It's not good for you. So playing in pop bands, you know, playing in a klezmer band, playing in the merengue band, playing in a jazz band, it gives me a multitude of avenues to approach a subject. It gives me different ways to approach a subject. So it's for me, it allows me to be considerably more creative because my vocabulary is so large. And it takes a very, very long time to learn all those things. So but once they all come together, I think it's a good thing. Doesn't bother me. I mean, I think that if you create music that people actually like, then people will buy it. If you create music that is part of an entertainment sensation where people feel that they're not hip if they don't have it, that's the stuff that gets downloaded. Because the people who do the downloading, they know they're not going to listen to a song for more than a couple weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So why should they pay $17 for something they don't really like? That's what we do. That's what we do for a living. When I play jazz records, one track. This is it. If you mess it up, we'll try another one. But we don't do overdubs and say, oh, that's a great rhythm track. Now let's get the solo together and put this, because there's an artificiality to it when you do it that way. It's like, you know, the room sound is like, you know, studio records are creations now. I mean, there's no room sound. The band's not banging away. I mean, there's so much compression on the sound. Like all the drums are compressed, everything is compressed, and they turn the volume way up so it hits the speakers really hard. But what you notice is things like musical things, like a crescendo. When was the last time you heard a crescendo in a pop band? When was the last time you heard a decrescendo? When was the last time you heard an R&B singer say, "Break it down, boom"? It's gone. It's just gone. Like Angelique Kidjo is the last time I heard an African singer. It's just you don't. Because the machines do the work. Like when we were doing a Buckshot record, we created a decrescendo with machines. It took us a week. I mean, a breakdown, you know. It's so hard to do because you're dealing with knobs and volumes, but the music's just different now. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's why I like doing this. This is acoustic, organic, and I have to practice like a crazy person just to get good at it. And then I went out there tonight and messed it up anyway. Shows how human I am. I mean, it's just so you try again, and I have to go.